racism? Well, yeah. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. White Americans basically have no culture. Not in the same way we see other people. And we white people, we know this inherently, and it scares us. We know we have our regional cultures. Our cities, our sports teams, and families all give us our regional culture, but being white basically means nothing. Or generally, at least nothing positive. White people throughout American history are almost always seen on the side of the oppressors. Not all white people, but most of us. And this sucks to learn. It's even harder to internalize. And it's why white people usually don't accept this, because it makes us feel a deep sense of guilt. I think it's why white people say nonsense like, I can't be racist, I have black friends. Sure, you probably don't see black people as objects, but you're refusing to accept the role our people have had in their oppression. That guilt we feel is our responsibility for the actions of our ancestors. It's why white people refuse to say that black people deserve reparation, because it admits our guilt. But black people deserve reparations. It just makes sense logically. You can sue someone for scratching your car, but black people can't sue the American government for the enslavement of their people. My people are arresting and deporting Mexican families from this country. Think about that. We are telling people that they are not allowed on the land we stole. Let's go a step further. White people stole a sacred land site from the people indigenous to this land and then carved 4 white people's faces on it, most of which were slave owners. I mean, Mount Rushmore is a place that we look at and we're like, oh, cool, giant faces. But to other people, it's a giant form of oppression, and admitting that and coming to terms with that sucks. We suck, dude. My people really and truly suck. Not all of us contributed to this oppression, but we are all a part of it. And this will mostly sound like virtue signaling. It will mostly sound like, look at how rough we are. But there is a reality to admitting this guilt and being honest with it. Because white people are afraid to do this. And we're afraid to admit it because my people are weak. White people are weak. We have power we have given ourselves. And put down the cultures that are stronger than us because we know that we're weak. If white Americans were oppressed the same way black, native, or Mexican American people are, we would crack like glass. Our culture and identity as white people is so meaningless that we do everything in our power to keep other people down so that we don't break from having someone else on top. I think that's why you see white Americans championing white pride, not just out of ignorance or racism, but it's because they are scared. They're scared to come to terms with their guilt, scared to admit they're wrong, and terrified to acknowledge that we may have all the societal, economic, and political power, but as a people we are weak. But this isn't the way it has to be forever. I have hope that one day my people will finally take responsibility for what we have done. I hope that we'll collectively accept our role in the oppression of our non-white brothers and sisters and finally take action. And it will take the action of us white folks. It's not just non-white people that have to fight for their rights. It's us too fighting for them because our cross to bear is being born white. Being born with the skin color of the oppressors means that we have to fight to be nothing like them. We're not near that right now. America is in a tumultuous stage where it very much does not feel like white people are acknowledging where they went wrong. But I want to have hope, and I refuse to accept that one day justice won't prevail. Collectively, we can all shed the shadow of oppression and share this place together. And that's the message I want to end with. I want to be hopeful that one day oppression will be something taught in history class, something that we don't have to see ourselves in. That's what I hope. Anyway, I want to be optimistic in the end. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.
Good morning. I just saw a video from one of my mutuals, Danny Lime. If you don't know him, please go and follow him. He's fantastic. He made a video about what do white people want black people to do. And I'm just going to add my little 3 cents to it, I guess. You know what, Danny? I commented on your video.
And he was optimistic. Well,
It's
he
not
broke
so
it
much
down
what they
real
want us
good.
to do. I think we're a constant representation of what they think they lost. They look at us and they see all of the opportunity that they used to have in controlling us and watching us in our black spaces and conduct our black lives. Whenever we're joyful in anything that we're doing, they feel a loss. I don't know what else it could be. It just shows in their actions. We can't do anything, we can't say anything, we can't enjoy anything, we can't invent anything, even though we invented almost everything. They appropriate, they steal credit, they marginalize. All I can tell you is we must be a representation of something that they think that they lost. And to maintain that power structure, they have to do and say and act the way they do. That's why law enforcement is never going to see black people as human, because cops most definitely think that they're back in 400 years ago. Some of them still have that mentality. It shows in how they do their job. Protecting and serving only means protecting and serving a certain kind of person. They won't admit it, but it shows in their actions. So I ask the question again too, white people, if black people left, y'all would be doing this shit to each other because it'll be the poor against the rich. I don't know when y'all gonna wake up and realize black people aren't your enemy. They just want fairness and to coexist alongside you. And I don't know why y'all can't grasp this concept, but it's going to be the ruination of you. Your hatred, your bigotry, your whatever it is you got going on, is going to be the ruination of you. And it's already manifesting in so many ways. It's a cancer eating you up from the inside. And believe it or not, most black people just watch y'all and discuss y'all at the picnic like, what the fuck?
Really?
Most of the time, black people aren't even thinking about you. Actually, 1,000% of the time we're not, except how we're going to navigate our lives, minding our own black business when just even doing that bothers you. So we're on the horns of a dilemma. So I say to you white people, the ball's in your court. What you want black people to do? I'm curious. That's a question I'm asking. For me, I'm asking for me. If you're brave enough, put your comments down below. Keep it clean. TikTok will get you. Keep it clean. Good morning. I just saw a video from one of my mutuals, Danny Lime.
Admittedly, I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about what white people think and feel about black people. And that's just the truth. But in listening to what you're saying and what you said your mutual said, I agree with elements of what you have both said. I think that in response to his question, I think that what white people want from black people is for black people to be silent victims. And when it comes to what it is you're saying, basically, in a nutshell, you're saying that white people just do not recognize our humanity, and I agree with that. I think that white people think about us as something, a thing that they can use, which goes back to the whole humanity element of it, which is one of the reasons why I don't think that they recognize our humanity. Whether it was back when you're speaking about when they had us enslaved and they used us to build wealth, none of that has changed. They still do the same thing, which is why, like you said, we can't discover anything, we can't enjoy ourselves, we can't have anything, basically without them coming in and colonizing it and using it for themselves. I think that anything that black people have to offer, if white people can use it to benefit and or enrich their lives as a collective, they're going to do it. And they don't want black people complaining about that. They want silent victims. Going back to what your mutual said, if they can work us for pennies on the dollar, they're going to do it in order to build wealth. If they can steal our ideas, they're going to do it in order to benefit themselves and build wealth for themselves. If we invent anything and try to get it patented, if they can steal it, they're going to do that. We see that with a TikTok video or dance over here on social media. That's why they're always looking over the fence at us and seeing what we're doing, because they don't see us as people. They don't recognize our humanity. They have always seen us as a tool they can use, like a shovel or a rake, in order to make the job of their lives of living easier for them. If they can take it, and if it makes and enriches their life in any way, because we are a thing for them to use, they feel more than comfortable doing that. And then when we complain about that, and how it robs us and our communities and generational wealth from being out of reach for us, then that is when they double down and triple down on the racism and the victimization of black people. But yeah, at the end of the day, now do I think that of all white people? Obviously not. I don't think that all white people feel this way, but I think that the collective does. In their minds, black people are just a thing for them to use. Even when it comes down to police officers, like you were saying, just if they want to work their frustrations out, or they want something or someone to be angry at because they're having a bad day or a bad moment or experiencing a hard day. Instead of going to therapy and taking ownership of those emotions and dealing with them in a healthy way, it's like, oh, here's a black person. Someone that I can, or something that I can work my frustrations out on. That's what I think it is. We are not people. We are things. Things for them to use. And they don't want us complaining about it, baby. They want quiet victims.
Some of y'all think you're waking up, but you're really not. You were just comfortable. And now you're finally uncomfortable, just like the rest of us. You thought America loved you because you had a little money, a degree, a house. You thought racism was over because you couldn't see it from your porch. You thought injustice was exaggerated. You thought people protesting was making it worse. You thought history was just history. You weren't awake. You were asleep, dreaming about how we've come so far, but now that you're losing rights, now that your kids can't afford housing, now that your healthcare feels like a scam, now it's real to you, right? We've been awake. We've been bleeding. You just finally noticed the blood. Welcome to the real America. We've been waiting.
The worst person you know, some of the worst people you know, and in many cases covertly the worst people you know, usually are surrounded by a very strong community that are really upholding and supporting them.
There is more truth to this than people will want to realize. What people generally don't understand is that it is not that hard to do bad things. What is hard is getting away with them and being in a position to do them again. The best way to do that is to have a community around you. And that is exactly what bad people do. They do not just groom their victims, they groom the bystanders as character witnesses. The way they do that? By being popular. Bad people are funny, charming, confident, they have loads of friends, they are the life of the party, and so on. So as this user rightly says, someone being a part of a community does not indicate that they are a good person. And I encourage you to watch the whole video because it is really good. But this is part of a wider phenomenon where people are looking for indicators that someone might be a bad person. So no, someone being a loner is not that indication that you are looking for. And every couple of years or so there is a new hype of what would be such an indication. So, for example, right now you hear a lot about dead eyes, which is some mystical, mythical bullshit that is not a real thing. And that is dangerous because you're giving people something that they will rely on that is not going to help them and most probably is going to lead them awry. And then you have all this physiognomy, phrenology, eugenics, actual literal Nazi stuff that supposedly you can tell someone's character from their appearance. Hook noses, dark skin, shortness of stature, baldness, etc., have all been named as indicators of bad character. Again, literal Nazi stuff. And then again, you get this
I'm gonna keep myself a
pseudoscientific stuff about
small
facial
lump.
expressions. And if you look at
I
all of
think
these
I'm a good
things taken
person.
together, you realize that
I
these are
don't,
not
I don't like
indicators,
fakeness or
they are
nothing like that.
proxies. They stand in for something else. It is not the orange tan that is damaging us, it is the defunding of science, for example, that is damaging us. So people keep resorting to all these proxies, but what they should be looking for is the thing that's right in front of us, and that's the behavior. Pranks, caustic comments, bullying, jokes at people's expense, lack of empathy, emotional border transgressions, and so on and so forth. Proxies are things that are supposed to stand for something else, but we don't need them because we can see the thing for which it is supposed to stand, which is the behavior. But there is, of course, a huge problem with this. Namely, that if we really start looking at behavior in the people around us, we might find out that we are, in fact, the support system of a bad person. We might be the character witness for bad people. Because we like bad people so much, we are invested in not seeing the behaviors. We are invested in finding proxies that don't work. So, a far more interesting and shocking question than what is a good proxy would be how do I look away when I see the behavior of bad people?
This is all a go from this video, and really a very big shout out to all the people that came.
It sucks to be a white American. Now hold on, give me a chance, let me explain. I want you to think of the kind of person who would put on a White Lives Matter sticker on the back of their Ford pickup. Why do they do that? Is it all racism? Well, yeah. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. White Americans basically have no culture. Not in the same way we see other people. And we white people, we know this inherently, and it scares us. We know we have our regional cultures. Our cities, our sports teams, and families all give us our regional culture, but being white basically means nothing. Or generally, at least nothing positive. White people throughout American history are almost always seen on the side of the oppressors. Not all white people, but most of us. And this sucks to learn. It's even harder to internalize. And it's why white people usually don't accept this, because it makes us
All right,
feel
y'all.
a
That's
deep
it for
sense
this
of
video.
guilt. I
Let me know
think
what
it's
you think in
why
the
white people
comments.
say nonsense like, I can't be racist, I have black friends. Sure, you
I
probably
think
don't see black people as objects, but you're
white
refusing
people
to
ain't gonna ever
accept the
be
role
happy
our people have had
with
in their
black folks
oppression.
around,
That guilt
but
we
they ain't
feel
happy
is our
when we're not around. When
responsibility
we're
for
not
the
around, they
actions
always
of
come
our
around, and
ancestors.
when we
It's
are
why
around, they
white
want to
people
treat us bad.
refuse to say that black people deserve reparation, because it admits our guilt.
It is what
But
it
black
is, I
people
guess. But let me know
deserve
what y'all thought about this
reparations. It
video.
just
Leave
makes
your
sense
questions,
logically.
comments
You
in
can
the
sue someone for scratching your car, but
comment
black people
section.
can't
It's
sue
late.
the American
I'm
government for the
tired.
enslavement
I'll
of their
catch y'all
people.
later. Peace.
My
It's Mac, and
people
I'm out.
are arresting and deporting Mexicans.
So, what did y'all think about that? Do y'all think that's true or false? Me personally, growing up around YT people, I always thought, um, I don't know how to say what I want to say without sounding rude, but I always thought the more melanated was a little bit ghetto to me. And that's just to me because I grew up around Caucasian people. But as a I got older and being an adult, it's just like I can't be around them. We don't need to be friends. We don't have nothing in common. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with anybody. Um, I just like to be unapologetically me. I don't like having to hide myself or be ashamed of how I am just to make somebody else comfortable. So I don't know. But thank you for the creators that created the videos. Give honor and thanks to the Heavenly Father and His Son, always. And the sun is coming up, and I'm getting tired. So, Mama going to bed. Good night, y'all. Peace.